Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest superstar, Sophie Cunningham, the veteran leader from Phoenix, and Lexy Hull, the rising Indiana talent, have reportedly made a joint announcement that could fundamentally reshape women's professional basketball. The implications of their collective decision reach far beyond individual careers to potentially influence league structures, player compensation, and the entire future of women's sports. But what could bring together players from different teams and career stages for such a momentous declaration? What announcement could be so significant that it demands the attention of every WNBA fan, player, and executive across the country? The timing of this alleged announcement comes at a crucial moment for women's professional basketball as the league experiences unprecedented growth in viewership, attendance, and commercial value. Caitlin Clark's transformative rookie season brought millions of new fans to the WNBA, while players like Sophie Cunningham and Lexy Hull represent the established talent and emerging potential that define the league's competitive landscape. Questions arise about what collective action these players might be considering and how their combined influence could affect the direction of women's professional basketball.
Clark was the #1 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, and of course,
the three players represent different aspects of WNBA success and challenges. Clark brings unprecedented marketability and fan attention that has elevated the entire league's profile. Cunningham represents veteran experience and the perspective of players who built the foundation for current success. Hull embodies the next generation of talent that will shape the league's future. Their collaboration suggests an initiative that addresses multiple aspects of the women's basketball experience, from rookie adaptation to veteran leadership to long-term career development. Sports analysts wonder whether this announcement might involve collective action regarding player compensation, working conditions, or opportunities for women's basketball players to maximize their earning potential and career satisfaction. The WNBA's current salary structure significantly limits player earning potential compared to the revenue and attention generated by elite performers, creating ongoing tensions about fair compensation and career sustainability.
All right, we love talking season before the season even tips off, because all of us have our predictions, what we think is going to happen, who's going to be great. For instance,
the implications could suggest that these players are taking unprecedented steps to address systemic issues within women's professional basketball that affect all players, regardless of their individual success or recognition. Their combined platform and influence provide unique opportunities to advocate for changes that could benefit the entire player community while advancing the sport's commercial and competitive development. Caitlin Clark's involvement in any collective player initiative would be particularly significant given her unique position as the league's most marketable player and biggest revenue generator.
WNBA star and fever guard Caitlin Clark is returning to her original home court on Sunday.
Her rookie season transformed WNBA economics, with games featuring Clark regularly drawing over 1 million television viewers and selling out arenas that had previously struggled with attendance. This commercial success has created leverage that previous generations of women's basketball players never possessed. Clark's individual impact on league finances includes unprecedented merchandise sales, sponsorship opportunities, and television ratings that have fundamentally altered the WNBA's commercial position. Her presence at games has generated economic benefits for teams across the league, not just the Indiana Fever, as road games featuring Clark consistently produce higher attendance and revenue than typical WNBA contests. The rookie sensation's social media following exceeds that of many established male professional athletes, providing her with platforms and influence that extend far beyond basketball. Her ability to reach diverse audiences and generate mainstream media attention creates opportunities for advocacy and initiatives that could reach well beyond traditional basketball communities. Questions arise about how Clark might use her unprecedented platform and commercial value to advocate for improvements that benefit all WNBA players, not just herself. Her unique position provides leverage for addressing issues that have affected women's professional basketball for decades, including salary limitations, working conditions, and career development opportunities. One has to wonder whether Clark's involvement in collective player initiatives represents her recognition that individual success must be balanced with collective advancement for the entire women's basketball community to achieve sustainable growth and improved conditions for all participants.
Clark was the #1 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, and of course,
Sophie Cunningham brings a different perspective to any collaborative initiative, having experienced the challenges and limitations of women's professional basketball throughout her career with the Phoenix Mercury. As a veteran player who has competed at the highest levels while navigating the financial and professional realities of the WNBA, Cunningham understands both the opportunities and constraints that define player experiences. Cunningham's career trajectory includes international play where many WNBA players earn the majority of their annual income through overseas competitions during the off-season. This global perspective provides insights into alternative models for women's professional basketball that might influence discussions about improving domestic league conditions and opportunities. The veteran guard has witnessed the evolution of women's basketball from a niche sport with limited commercial appeal to its current position as a growing entertainment property with increasing mainstream recognition. Her experience spanning multiple phases of league development provides valuable context for understanding both progress achieved and challenges that remain. Cunningham's leadership within the Players Association and her reputation for advocating for player interests suggest that her involvement in any major initiative would focus on practical improvements that address real issues affecting player careers and livelihood. Her perspective represents the concerns of established players who have invested their careers in building the foundation for current success. Sports analysts note that Cunningham's participation in collaborative efforts with newer stars like Clark demonstrates the potential for bridging generational gaps within the player community to pursue common goals that benefit all participants regardless of their career stage or individual recognition.
In Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever are trading for a multi-dimensional wing.
Lexy Hull represents the emerging talent that will define the WNBA's future, bringing the perspective of players who entered the league during its current growth phase, but still face the traditional challenges that have affected women's professional basketball throughout its history. Her involvement suggests that any major announcement addresses both current issues and long-term development concerns. Hull's Indiana Fever teammate relationship with Clark provides insights into how veteran and rookie players can collaborate effectively while pursuing individual and collective goals. Their partnership demonstrates the potential for mentorship and mutual support that could serve as models for player development throughout the league. The young forward's college experience at Stanford, one of the premier women's basketball programs, provided exposure to high-level competition and professional preparation that influences her perspective on what women's professional basketball could become with proper support and development resources. Hull's position as an emerging player facing decisions about career development, international opportunities, and long-term goals represents the concerns of many WNBA players who must balance immediate financial needs with career sustainability and professional growth in a league with limited earning potential. Questions arise about how Hull's participation in major player initiatives might reflect broader concerns among younger players about career prospects, financial security, and opportunities for advancement within the current structure of women's professional basketball.
With the 6th pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Lexy Hull, Stanford University.
The collaboration between these three players from different career stages and team affiliations suggests an initiative that transcends individual interests to address systemic issues affecting the entire WNBA player community. Their combined influence and perspectives provide unique opportunities to advocate for changes that could benefit all participants while advancing the sport's overall development. Previous examples of successful player advocacy in professional sports demonstrate how collective action by influential athletes can create positive changes in league structures, compensation models, and working conditions. The most effective initiatives typically combine star power with broad-based support from players across different teams and career stages. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement includes provisions for player compensation, benefits, and working conditions, but many players continue to express concerns about salary limitations and career sustainability. The league's salary cap structure restricts individual earning potential even for the most successful and marketable players. International opportunities provide alternative income sources for many WNBA players, with European and Asian leagues often offering higher compensation than domestic professional basketball. This global marketplace creates leverage for players seeking improved conditions and compensation within the WNBA structure. Sports economists note that the recent growth in WNBA popularity and commercial success creates opportunities for renegotiating league economics and player compensation models that better reflect the value generated by elite performers and the league's increased commercial viability.
People want to know, is that the team to beat this year? Can they win the WNBA championship?
The announcement timing coincides with ongoing discussions about WNBA expansion, television contract negotiations, and the league's long-term strategic direction. These factors create opportunities for player input and advocacy that could influence fundamental aspects of how women's professional basketball operates and compensates its participants. Player empowerment movements in other professional sports have demonstrated how athletes can successfully advocate for improved conditions, compensation, and career opportunities. The most effective initiatives typically combine individual star power with collective organization and specific achievable goals that benefit the entire player community. The social media landscape provides modern athletes with platforms and influence that previous generations never possessed. Players can now communicate directly with fans, media, and league officials while building personal brands that create leverage for advocacy and negotiation efforts.
Last year, how does Vegas get back to its championship ways?
Death, taxes, and Asia Wilson getting up.
Women's professional sports have seen increasing instances of successful player advocacy, with athletes using their platforms to address issues ranging from compensation equality to working conditions to media coverage and respect. These precedents provide models for effective collective action within the WNBA context. The CU rent growth phase of women's basketball creates unique opportunities for player input and advocacy that could shape the sport's development for decades. Players who take leadership roles during this crucial period could influence fundamental structures and policies that affect future generations of women's basketball players. Questions arise about what specific goals these players might be pursuing and how their collective action could address both immediate concerns and long-term development needs for women's professional basketball. Their combined influence provides unprecedented opportunities for advocacy and change. The announcement's potential impact extends beyond the WNBA to influence broader discussions about women's sports, athlete compensation, and the evolution of professional athletics. Successful advocacy by prominent women's basketball players could create precedents that benefit athletes across multiple sports and competitive levels. Corporate sponsors and media partners have increased their investments in women's basketball, significantly creating new revenue streams and commercial opportunities that could support improved player compensation and working conditions. The challenge involves ensuring that increased league revenue translates into tangible benefits for the players who generate that success. The fan support generated by players like Clark demonstrates the commercial potential of women's basketball when provided with proper marketing, media coverage, and competitive opportunities. This growing fan base creates leverage for player advocacy and demands for improved league policies and player treatment. Educational initiatives and community outreach programs represent additional areas where player advocacy could create positive changes that extend beyond immediate compensation and working condition concerns. Players often seek opportunities to use their platforms for broader social impact and community development. The long-term sustainability of women's professional basketball depends on creating career paths and compensation models that allow elite athletes to build sustainable livelihoods while pursuing competitive excellence. Current players have opportunities to influence these foundational elements through collective advocacy and leadership.
Team goals are one thing, and then individual goals. What does this season look like year two?
International perspectives and opportunities provide additional context for understanding what women's professional basketball could achieve with proper support and development. Many WNBA players compete overseas during the off-season, gaining exposure to different models for player compensation, league organization, and competitive structure. The role of player development and career support services representing another area where collective advocacy could create improvements that benefit all participants. Enhanced training facilities, medical support, and career transition resources could address concerns that affect players throughout their careers and beyond. Media coverage and marketing support significantly influence both individual player recognition and overall league success. Player advocacy could focus on ensuring that increased media attention and commercial success translate into improved conditions and opportunities for all participants, not just the most visible stars. The announcement's timing during the WNBA's growth phase provides unique opportunities to influence league direction and policy development. Players who take leadership roles during this crucial period could help establish precedents and structures that benefit future generations of women's basketball players. Legal and contractual considerations affect how player advocacy initiatives can be structured and implemented within existing league frameworks. Successful collective action typically requires careful coordination with player association representatives and legal experts who understand professional sports regulations and contract law. The potential for creating lasting positive change through player advocacy depends on developing specific achievable goals that address real concerns while working within existing legal and contractual structures. The most effective initiatives typically combine immediate improvements with long-term strategic changes that create sustainable benefits. Fan engagement and support often play crucial roles in successful player advocacy efforts. The growing popularity of women's basketball creates opportunities for players to build public support for initiatives that improve league conditions and player opportunities while advancing the sport's overall development. The announcement represents a potential turning point for women's professional basketball, as influential players use their combined platform and leverage to advocate for changes that could reshape the sport's future. Their collaboration demonstrates the potential for collective action to address systemic issues while advancing individual and community goals. One has to wonder what specific changes these players are advocating for and how their initiative might influence the broader landscape of women's professional sports. Their combined influence and timing provide unprecedented opportunities to create positive changes that could benefit current and future generations of women's basketball players while advancing the sport's commercial and competitive development. Expected the friendship that would reshape endorsement deals in women's basketball forever. When two of the WNBA's most dynamic players crossed paths during a heated season, something extraordinary emerged from their competitive rivalry that left the sports business world stunned. The surprise that changed everything came when generational wealth met unexpected generosity, creating a partnership that could revolutionize how female athletes support each other in professional sports. But what drove the league's biggest star to make such an unprecedented gesture? How did a rivalry transform into a game-changing alliance that has Nike executives scrambling to rewrite the rules of endorsements? The ripple effects of this shocking development threatened to change everything we thought we knew about athlete relationships and commercial partnerships. Nike has revolutionized women's basketball endorsements in recent years, with the company investing unprecedented amounts in female athletes as the sport gains commercial viability and mainstream attention. The brand's commitment to women's basketball has grown exponentially alongside increasing viewership and fan engagement. Caitlin Clark signed a historic 8-year endorsement deal with Nike, reportedly worth over $1 million, including signature shoe opportunities and equity stakes that represent the largest endorsement package ever offered to a women's basketball player. This deal reflects the dramatic shift in how companies value female athletic talent. Sophie Cunningham, the dynamic guard for the Phoenix Mercury, has established herself as one of the parthers of the WNBA's most versatile and exciting players since being drafted in Arts and Linger Jolt. Her career averages of Jolin R points per game and stand and E rebounds per game, combined with her three-point shooting ability and defensive intensity, have made her a valuable contributor throughout her professional career. The endorsement landscape for WNBA players has traditionally been limited compared to male professional athletes, with most players earning modest supplemental income from shoe and apparel deals rather than the life-changing contracts that define men's professional basketball. Questions arise about how the increasing commercial success of women's basketball might create opportunities for more substantial endorsement partnerships, and whether established stars might use their leverage to help elevate other players in the league. Caitlin Clark's commercial success extends far beyond her Nike deal to include partnerships with numerous brands that recognize her unique ability to attract mainstream attention to women's basketball. Her marketability has fundamentally altered the landscape for female athlete endorsements. The Nike partnership includes not only immediate financial compensation, but also long-term equity opportunities and signature product development that could generate revenue throughout Clark's career and beyond. This structure represents a new model for how companies approach relationships with female athletes. Clark's social media following exceeds 2 million followers across platforms, providing brands with access to engaged audiences that include both traditional basketball fans and new viewers who discovered the sport through her college and professional success. Her influence extends to merchandise sales, with Clark's jerseys and related products consistently ranking among the top seller in WNBA history. The commercial impact of her presence has created new revenue streams for teams, the league, and corporate partners. Sports marketing experts note that Clark's crossover appeal and mainstream recognition have created leverage that previous generations of women's stars never possessed, potentially enabling her to use her platform for initiatives that benefit other athletes. Sophie Cunningham was drafted 7th overall by the Phoenix Mercury and Arts Henley's Jewel after a standout college career at the University of Missouri, where she scored over Arling career points and established herself as one of the most prolific scorers in program history during her WNBA career. Cunningham has developed into a reliable role player known for her three-point shooting accuracy, by-funded censure-sussed career percentage from beyond the arc cow, and her willingness to take clutch shots in crucial moments. Her versatility allows her to play both guard positions effectively. Phoenix Mercury veteran has been particularly valuable during playoff runs, with her ability to provide scoring off the bench and stretch opposing defenses with her perimeter shooting. She has appeared in Ebite's sister regular season games throughout her 5-year WNBA career. Cunningham's competitive intensity and team-first mentality have made her a favorite among teammates and coaches. though her endorsement opportunities have remained limited compared to higher-profile players who receive more media attention and commercial interest. Her basketball IQ and professional approach to the game have earned respect throughout the league, making her the type of player that championship teams value, even when her contributions don't always show up in highlight reels or statistical summaries. Modern professional sports have seen increasing examples of established stars using their platforms and resources to elevate teammates and competitors, creating collaborative approaches that contrast with traditional individual-focused competitive models. The WNBA's unique culture emphasizes player empowerment and mutual support, with veterans often mentoring rookies and established stars, advocating for league-wide improvements in salaries, benefits, and working conditions that benefit all participants. Social media has enabled direct communication between players that can foster relationships and collaborations that extend beyond traditional team boundaries. Players can now support each other's endeavors and create partnerships independently of franchise or league initiatives. The increasing commercial success of women's basketball has created situations where top earners have resources that could potentially benefit other players through various forms of support, mentorship, or collaborative business ventures. Sports analysts wonder whether the growing financial success of elite female athletes might lead to more instances of player-to-player support that helps elevate the entire sports commercial profile. And Nika has dramatically increased its investment in women's sports over the past decade, recognizing the growing commercial potential and cultural significance of female athletic achievement. The company's approach includes both individual athlete partnerships and broader initiatives supporting women's sports development. The brand's commitment to women's basketball specifically has included significant investments in WNBA partnerships, college basketball programs, and grassroots development initiatives designed to grow participation and fan engagement across all levels of the sport. Nike's strategy involves identifying athletes with crossover appeal and mainstream recognition potential. This then providing them with resources and platforms that can amplify their influence beyond traditional basketball audiences. The company's approach to women's sports endorsements now includes equity opportunities, signature product lines, and long-term partnerships that provide athletes with ongoing revenue streams rather than simple one-time payment structures. Questions arise about how Nike's increased investment in women's basketball might create opportunities for collaborative partnerships between athletes and whether the company might support initiatives that benefit multiple players simultaneously. Professional athlete endorsement deals have evolved beyond simple payment structures to include equity stakes, product development opportunities, and long-term partnerships that can provide ongoing revenue throughout and after athletic careers. The most successful athlete endorsement partnerships create mutual benefits for brands and athletes, with companies gaining access to engaged audiences while athletes receive financial security and platform amplification that extends their influence beyond sports performance. Women's sports endorsements have historically lagged behind men's sports in terms of financial value, but recent growth in viewership and fan engagement has created new opportunities for female athletes to secure substantial commercial partnerships. The structure of modern endorsement deals often includes performance bonuses, social media engagement requirements, and collaborative marketing initiatives that require active participation from athletes in promoting brand partnerships. Sports business experts note that the most valuable endorsement relationships involve athletes who can authentically represent brand values while maintaining credibility with their core fan bases and expanding appeal to new audiences. The increasing financial success of elite athletes has created opportunities for philanthropic initiatives and peer support that can have significant impacts on sports communities and individual careers. Professional athletes who achieve substantial financial success often use their resources to support charitable causes, youth development programs, and initiatives that benefit other athletes who may not have similar commercial opportunities. Of modern athlete contracts and endorsement deals can provide financial flexibility that enables established stars to invest in other players' careers, whether through direct support, business partnerships, or collaborative ventures. Athlete-to-athlete support has become increasingly common across professional sports, with established stars mentoring younger players and using their platforms to elevate teammates and competitors who contribute to their sport's overall success. Questions arise about how financial empowerment among elite female athletes might create new models for peer support and collaborative success that benefit entire sports communities rather than individual achievements alone. Caitlin Clark's commercial success represents a new level of financial achievement for women's basketball players, creating opportunities for influence and impact that extend beyond individual career goals to potentially benefit other athletes and the sport overall. The scale of Clark's endorsement deals and commercial partnerships provides her with resources that could enable various forms of support for other players, whether through direct financial assistance, business collaborations, or platform sharing initiatives. Historical precedents in men's professional sports include numerous examples of finally successful athletes using their resources to support teammates, competitors, and sports development initiatives that benefit broader athletic communities. The unique position of being the highest-paid female basketball player in history could provide Clark with both the resources and the motivation to use her success for initiatives that elevate other players and expand opportunities throughout women's basketball. 3 sports economists note that the concentration of commercial success among a few elite athletes creates both opportunities and responsibilities for those athletes to consider how their success might benefit their sports and fellow competitors. Social media platforms have fundamentally changed how professional athletes interact with each other, enabling direct communication and collaboration that can lead to unexpected partnerships and mutual support initiatives. The viral nature of social media content means that athlete interactions and collaborative announcements can generate significant attention and influence that benefits all participants while amplifying positive messages about sports communities. Female athletes have been particularly effective at using social media to support each other's endeavors and create collaborative content that showcases the personality and character that make women's sports compelling for fans and sponsors. The authentic relationships and mutual support, visible through social media interactions, help create positive narratives around women's sports that attract new fans and commercial partners interested in associating with positive, empowering content. Questions arise about how social media relationships between athletes might translate into real-world collaborations and whether platform influence can be leveraged to create tangible benefits for sports, communities, and individual careers. WNBA culture emphasizes veteran leadership and mentorship, with established players often taking active roles in supporting younger athletes both on and off the court. This collaborative approach contrasts with more individual-focused competitive models in other sports. Experienced players like those who have worked with Cunningham throughout her career understand the challenges of building sustainable careers in women's professional basketball and often provide guidance that extends beyond basketball strategy to include business and life skills. The mutual respect between competitors who recognize each other's contributions to the sport can create relationships that transcend individual team loyalties and competitive dynamics during games and seasons. Veteran leadership in women's basketball often includes advocacy for league-wide improvements in salaries, benefits, and working conditions that benefit all players rather than focusing solely on individual achievements and recognition. Sports analysts note that the collaborative culture in women's basketball creates opportunities for established stars to use their success and influence to benefit other players in ways that strengthen the entire sport's competitive quality and commercial appeal. Modern endorsement agreements increasingly include provisions for collaborative marketing initiatives and shared promotional opportunities that can benefit multiple athletes simultaneously while maximizing brand exposure and engagement. The structure of Nike's partnerships with women's basketball players often emphasizes long-term relationship building and platform development rather than simple transaction-based arrangements that provide short-term promotional value. Collaborative endorsement initiatives can create win-win scenarios where established stars share platform access and promotional opportunities with other athletes, potentially expanding brand reach while providing support for players who might not otherwise receive similar commercial attention. The success of collaborative marketing campaigns in women's sports has demonstrated that authentic relationships and mutual support often generate more engaging content and stronger fan connections than individual-focused promotional strategies. Nike's investment strategy in women's sports increasingly emphasizes community building and collaborative initiatives that showcase the authentic relationships and mutual support that characterize women's athletic communities. The brand's approach to women's basketball partnerships includes supporting initiatives that benefit multiple athletes and promote positive narratives about women's sports culture, competitiveness, and community. Nike's marketing campaigns featuring women's basketball often emphasize teamwork, mutual respect, and collaborative success rather than individual achievement alone, reflecting the authentic culture of women's professional basketball. The company's long-term strategy for women's sports includes identifying opportunities to support athlete-led initiatives that demonstrate the values and character that make women's basketball compelling for mainstream audiences and commercial partners. Questions arise about how Nike's collaborative approach to women's sports marketing might create new opportunities for athlete partnerships and whether successful individual endorsements might include provisions for supporting other athletes within the same sport. The increasing financial success of elite female athletes creates opportunities for new models of peer support and collaborative career development that could benefit entire sports communities rather than individual achievements alone. The precedents being established by current generation athletes might influence how future sports stars approach their commercial success and whether platform sharing and resource collaboration become standard practices among elite athletes. The positive fan and media response to authentic athlete relationships and mutual support suggests that collaborative initiatives generate valuable engagement and commercial interest that benefits all participants in sustainable ways. The evolution of endorsement deal structures and brand partnership. ASDA SESH strategies might increasingly include provisions for athlete-to-athlete collaboration and community support initiatives that amplify positive narratives around women's sports. Sports business analysts wonder whether the current period might represent a turning point for how elite athletes use their commercial success and whether collaborative models might become standard approaches for supporting sports community development and opportunity expansion. The convergence of increasing commercial success, mainstream attention, and collaborative culture in women's basketball creates opportunities for athlete partnerships and support initiatives that could reshape how professional sports careers develop and sustain themselves. The potential for established stars to use their platforms and resources for supporting other athletes represents a unique moment in women's sports history where individual success can translate into broader community benefits and opportunity expansion. Not Benton. The positive response from fans, media, and commercial partners to authentic athlete relationships and collaborative initiatives suggest that mutual support models generate sustainable engagement and business value that benefits all participants. Questions remain about how such collaborative initiatives might be structured and implemented to maximize benefits for all involved parties while maintaining authentic relationships and competitive integrity within professional sports environments. The implications could suggest that the current generation of women's basketball stars might establish new precedents for how athletic success can be used to benefit entire sports communities and create sustainable opportunities for future generations of female athletes. If you're as amazed by this potential game-changing collaboration as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think successful athletes should use their resources to support other players? How important is collaboration versus individual achievement in building sustainable careers in women's sports? We want to hear your perspective on what this could mean for the future of athlete relationships and endorsement deals. Then hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of how women's basketball continues to evolve and break new ground. Thanks for watching.